To start off this project, I'm using some quick dry concrete powder, and I'm gonna mix this up with some water to create our very own concrete. And the thing that I love about working with concrete is that it is so affordable. The entire bag cost me $6, and I've probably used it for over a year now. Like, I swear to you guys, I have been using concrete forever, and this bag has lasted me such a long time. And you just mix it up with water until you get this sort of perfect, sort of very thick paste consistency, but it's still runny and like pliable. And then what I do is I take a gallon Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna pour this mixture inside of it, and the less amount of concrete you add, the thinner it will be, and the more amount of concrete that you add, the thicker this will be. So depending on what tray you wanna make, if it's thin or thick, you could do that. But you can also think about doing this with Ziploc bags and make little tea light holders. I just decided for this project that I wanted to make it a larger, more tray shape. So what I did was I flattened it out on a flat surface, and then I went in with a pair of scissors to poke a couple of holes just to release as much air as possible. And then I used a heavy weighted sort of circular object right in the center. That way, as it dries, it kind of cures around this and creates sort of that tray divot, which is great for your keys or your wallet or like rings or whatever it may be, depending on where you're gonna put this item. And then once it's completely dry, after about 6 hours, you could take it out and you have your brand new concrete tray, perfect for styling on a coffee table or in an entryway. Some wood pieces, paracord, spray paint if you want to, wall hangers, and scissors. So what I started off by doing was spraying one of my wood pieces. This was a scrap piece of like 2x4 that was just like randomly on the ground outside. I literally swear to you, I found it outside. And then I'm using some hammered finished spray paint to just spray over the top of this. But I also found these little wooden signs at Michael's, and you can use coupons for these. So you can use like a 40% off or a 50% off. And it was like $8, so maybe $4 in the end. And I used some paracord, and what I'm doing is I'm looping it around one side, holding it in the top center, looping it around the opposite side, pulling it up to the middle so that you have basically the loops on either side to hold either edge, and then tying a knot in the center top. And this just kind of has to be perfectly placed in the center because you want the weight to be distributed equally. And this is what the shape looks like once you're completely done. And then you can go ahead and hang it up with a little hanger, and you can secure the strings on either side with some hot glue on the underside, or you can just balance your objects on top of the shelf and just make it work, which is exactly what I did. This last project was inspired by my old job at West Elm. We did this as an installation once, and I used some Dixie cups, some wood beads, string, white paint, paintbrushes, scissors, and some hot glue. So what I started off by doing was just gluing together two of these little miniature cups to create the bead shape. And this is exactly what we did. What we did after this was just paint all of our little beads white, and I just used some simple Craft Smart white paint, and I just went over the entire shape of this with some white paint. And I think I gave each one maybe just one or two coats. I don't exactly believe. I think it was just one quick coat on all of them. And then what I did was I took my string and a spare piece of wire, and I used a little bit of tape, and this is just kind of to create a faux needle because we basically need to thread through our string on a really long surface. So I threaded through a couple of wooden beads, and this is kind of going to be the spacer between the actual handmade bead. So I did a couple of wooden beads and then poked a hole on each side of the cup just as shown here with the scissors, and then I strung it through. That's where the wire comes in handy. And we're just creating a garland. And this project is great if you want to put it over the top of a fireplace, over the top of a mirror. If you want to use it for a birthday party, you can customize the colors, customize the shapes, add different beads if you want to. It's just like a fun idea I thought I would share with you guys because it's a great affordable way to create a DIY garland that looks sort of handmade and fun. So that is exactly how you finish off the project, by looping your thread through at the end and then hang it up however you desire, and you are good to go.